Most people stay broke because they're unwilling to take the risk that it takes to actually become wealthy. Ryan Pineda was. He was making $1,200 a month playing professional baseball. To support himself, he started flipping couches, eventually started flipping real estate, and built that into a multi-million-dollar real estate business. In this episode, we break down the exact risks he had to take to be able to do exactly that, and how his faith guided him in every single decision, and how you can take the exact same blueprint, apply it into your life to build real wealth, even if you're starting from scratch. Ryan, thanks for coming on the podcast. Super excited to kind of jump through this, talk to your story a little bit. It's been fun. These are the fun full circle moments because I've been following you for years. And so it's fun to get in a room and kind of hear your story a little bit and success, all that.
Yeah, dude. I appreciate you having me on. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, for sure. So fellow athlete, walk me through. Let's just get the backstory out of the way so we can dive into business. Played baseball. Where'd you go to college?
Cal State Northridge.
How long did you play before you got called up?
So I played 3 years, got drafted. In baseball, you got to play 3 years D1 to get drafted. So got drafted by the Oakland A's, played 3 years with them in the minor leagues, got cut, thought my career was over, had no plans for business, ended up playing 5 more seasons in independent pro baseball. So I played 8 years in the minor leagues, made no money doing it. Yeah. Literally like $1,200 a month.
I was going to say, what was the contract? $1,200 a month during season 2? Or
only during the season. Yep. Crazy.
Okay. So how were you surviving? Were you taking off jobs during off season and stuff like that?
Yeah. So my first couple of years, I was a realtor. So I became a realtor in 2010, literally the worst real estate market there was. Like the average house in Vegas was $100,000.
Yep.
And so even if I could sell anything, which I couldn't, the commission was $3,000.
Jeez.
So it was hard. And after a couple of years, I actually quit real estate because I'm like, this sucks. Like, who would do this?
Yeah.
And I ended up getting married and had to like figure out how to provide as a husband. My wife was in college, not making any money. And she was going to be a middle school teacher. So like she was going to make $40,000 a year.
Yep.
And I'm like, I don't know. And so eventually, long story short, I started hustling. And first thing I did was I started flipping couches. And that was my first ever successful business. I grew that in like a year to making $8,000 a month net. And I was like, I've made it. This is like the most amount of money ever.
We were rolling in money at that point. After $1,200 a month?
Yeah, I would make $8,000 a year and now I'm making it a month.
Yeah. And so as you get, couch flipping, did you just have a couch at home that you sold? How did you decide to get into couch flipping?
It wasn't a thing. There was no YouTube and Instagram teaching you all these side hustles. I got married. We moved in. I furnished our entire apartment on Craigslist. It was like $1,000. And, I'm sitting there doing like random things. At that point to make money, I was actually substitute teaching too. So I was making like $100 a day, just babysitting kids. And it was enough to pay the bills, but I'm like, man, there's got to be a better way. And then, I was sitting there in class one day and I was like, man, I just furnished the apartment and it was so fun getting those deals. And I know I could like flip them and make money because I'd flipped things throughout my life, cell phones, Pokemon cards. Like I was always like a flipper.
Yeah.
I was like, I wonder what would happen if like I flipped one couch. Like if I flipped one couch, that's $100 at least. And that would take like an hour. And I'm sitting here for 6 with these kids. And so I tested my theory. I bought a couch, brought it home, flipped it, made like $150. I was like, this is way easier. I literally quit and just started doing it. I bought a truck for $1,500 off Craigslist. It was all the money I had. Got a storage unit and just started buying couches.
And then, so you got that up to $8,000 a month.
Yep.
Did you do that long term? Like what was your first kind of business?
Yeah, that was it. I did it for like 2 years. So I would do it for like 6 months, leave to play baseball, make nothing, come back, do it again, leave to play baseball. Like that was it. But it was also during that time that I got into flipping houses. So, I'd done about a year of flipping couches and, it supported us. And like, we finally had some savings. I had about $10,000 saved up. And I was like, man, this is like really going really well. But I kind of came into this life moment where I'm like, I'm not going to do this the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even like telling people what I'm doing currently. People are like, what do you do? I'm like, well, I buy and resell couches.
Yeah.
Like, what? Is that a thing? I'm like, yeah, it actually makes a lot of money. But anyways, I was praying one day and it was our 1 year anniversary. And I was like, God, what do you want me to do with my life? It's not going to be flipping couches the rest of my life, clearly. And it looks like it's not going to be baseball either. I mean, I've been doing this now for 5 years. I'm further away from the major leagues than I ever have been.
Yeah.
What's it going to be? And there's only been a couple of times in my life where I like audibly, well, I don't even want to say audibly, but like just had a vision, like just this clarity of what to do. And I heard real estate. And I'm like, real estate, I did that before and I failed and I don't even like it. And that was that. And then I see this TV commercial like hours later. It's like, you want to learn how to flip houses with no money and all this stuff. And I'm like, scam. Like, you can't flip houses. I would have heard about that.
Yeah.
But I felt something calling me to look more into it. And so I Google it and it's like, can you flip houses with no money? Remember, there's no ChatGPT.
Yeah.
There's just Google. And I find this blog called Bigger Pockets. And it's like, yeah, that's what wholesaling is. This is what that is. And I'm like, wait, you mean to tell me I could really flip houses with no money? Because I can find deals. I know how to hustle.
Yeah.
I told my wife on the 1 year, I go, we're going to flip houses. She's like, okay, cool. Like how? I was like, well, there's this thing called hard money loans where, you know, they don't care about my credit. They don't care that I don't have a job because all this couch flipping's off the books. Like they just care about the deal. Yeah. And I was like, I know how to find deals. And she's like, okay, so what do you need? And I'm like, well, we're going to need a down payment. And, you know, the prices were low at that time. I'm like, we're probably going to need like $30,000, but we have that in credit. I'll just cash advance all of our credit cards and get our down payment. She's like, okay. So I applied for
That's a good wife right there.
Yeah. I applied for all credit cards in both of our names, got $50K. And I ended up buying 2 houses because I was like, well, they're both good deals. Like, let's do it.
Yeah.
And thank God, you know, both worked out. I ended up making $40,000 between the 2. And I just kept reinvesting back into the next deal, the next deal, the next deal. You know, 2 became 4, 4 became 8. Eventually I was flipping hundreds of homes. And, you know, that was how I had like my first $1 million business.
I love that you bring God into it. I feel like so many people shy away from putting their faith out there. That's something I respect to this day. Like, I know you're even running an event today right now.
Yep.
And everyone feels it different, talks about it different, but everyone's path is guided in some way. Yep. And so it's cool that you bring it, respect that. Inside of the flipping homes, what would be like an average profit for someone that's getting into wholesaling? When you like look at a deal, what are you hoping for? And then what would you say you've averaged over the last 10 years flipping homes?
Yeah. So I'll define flipping and wholesaling differently. So when I actually buy, renovate, and sell a house, our target is net 10% of the sales price.
Cool.
So if I sell it for $500K, I want to make 50.
Yep.
And you know, back in the day with those deals, I mean, prices were cheap. Like we were selling them for $200,000 and we made 20K.
Yep.
Like we hit our target. So that's what I go for now. On wholesaling is a little bit different because we don't actually buy the home and stuff, but it does still correlate to price. And it just depends how good the deals are you get. But for us, we try to average about $15,000 per wholesale.
I've always heard 12 to 18, so that fits kind of right in there.
Yep.
I have a bunch of family members, cousins, friends that all wholesale. And I think so many people think it's a scam. When you hear what it is and how it works, like you can't do that, but you can. And wholesaling real estate is probably the easiest to get into. And when I say easiest, meaning most information widely available for you to go like actually consume and start to get into it. You can do the same thing with businesses. You can do the same thing with, couches. You can, flipping is not this novel concept. It's just rather than flipping a couch and making $100, go use the same skill set to flip a house and try to make 10 grand.
Yep.
But it is completely doable for the everyday person if they'll just educate them and figure out how to get into it.
Yeah, and just to give context to the viewers if they've never heard of it, 10 years ago, I'm like, wholesale, is this Costco? Like, what are we talking about, right? But, all wholesaling is essentially getting a good deal, and instead of buying it and fixing it up and selling it, it's just, instead, I'm going to sell my contract. So, if I know that, you're a house flipper or a landlord or somebody who's looking for deals, I have a really good deal. And, if I have it locked up for $300,000 and, I know you'll pay $320,000, then I don't have to buy it to sell it to you. I can actually just sell you my contract and make the difference.
So when you leave, actually, let me go back to baseball. When you leave baseball, was there an identity crisis?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, not when I finally left, because now I had real estate going, and so I was good. But when I first got released by the Oakland A's, I'll be honest, I can honestly say I never really had like depression in my life. But that was probably the worst week of my life where I felt depressed. And it was probably for like a week. I kind of was moping because, the A's cut me, and you got to imagine when you're 23 years old. And I mean, you're an athlete. So we all have that day when it ends.
Yep.
And, they called me in the office at 23. This is all I've ever wanted to do my entire life. I just spent 3 seasons with them. I felt like my last season was pretty decent. Like I thought that I'd be going to AA potentially. And the opposite happens. They're like, hey, unfortunately, like, you had a decent season, but, on the big league roster, they signed, a bunch of guys. And so guys we thought from AAA that are going to go to the bigs are now going to be stuck in AAA. And that has caused a logjam in AA. And there's no spot for you, dude. Sorry. And that was it.
Yeah.
And I just remember like driving home from spring training that day. And I'm just like, wow, like my career's over. And I've never thought of doing anything else. I've just always thought I was going to play in the big leagues, and that was the path. And that was the first time in my life I had to contemplate what the heck I would even do. And by the way, I'm engaged. I'm like, thinking that I'm going to be a big leaguer and that's how I'm going to provide for my family. And it's like gone.
Yeah.
So that was hard.
I think every major serious athlete has that day. And it's always interesting to kind of hear those stories because you go your whole life. To get to that level, you have to have confidence in what's going on and your abilities. And sometimes it's an ignorant confidence on what it is. And the day when it finally becomes real, it's like, oh, shoot, like, I got to figure out what's next.
Well, because if you have any doubt in your mind, or like if you actually know how hard it is, you wouldn't do it. Like you have to be like, all right, you know what? I got this pitcher in front of me. I don't really care who he is. I'm about to mess this fool up.
Yep.
And you're facing Chris Sale, the Cy Young winner. Like I remember the first time I faced him, I'm like, I'm about to mess this dude up. And then he struck me out 3 times. I'm like, this guy's on another level. Yeah. But I believed I was going to get him.
Yeah. Do you have a lot of athletes in your current companies? Do you still navigate or gravitate to athletes?
I don't really do the hiring anymore, so it's not like a criteria.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I think in my life now, I just value different things. So it's interesting. When I first started, for sure. It's like, bro, like I'm a jock. I want people who are competitive. I want people who are intense, people who work hard, like all the things that make a great athlete, make a great employee, right? You know how to deal with adversity. You know how to be a good teammate. Like sports prepares you for business really well. And so I would say maybe early in my career when I was like, the guy hiring people and hands-on, like I would naturally gravitate towards people like that.
Yeah.
But, as you get older, most people are so far removed from sports, like they've become domesticated. Also, too, now for me, like, we talked about faith, but like as I just keep growing more and more in faith, like I value people who have faith.
Yeah.
And it's not like I won't hire non-Christians, but like those are the traits I look for now.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay, so jump back up to kind of wholesaling. When did you start to scale wholesaling outside of yourself? When did it start to become a business with people underneath you that you started to really scale it?
Yeah, so I would say 2015, I start flipping houses, and I'm still playing baseball. And I end up playing baseball and flipping houses for 3 years. And it was funny because I'm just kind of like doing both for fun at this point because I'm playing baseball and I love baseball still, but now I'm starting to actually make money. And so I make $50K my first year, make nothing playing baseball, but I'm like, this is the best year ever. The next year, I make $200,000 flipping houses, and I still make nothing in baseball, but I actually had my best season ever in 2016. So I'm like, maybe like I might get back to the league. Like who knows what's about to happen, right? And I'm flipping houses and doing great. 2017 happens, and I go into the season feeling good about my previous season. And long story short, I started off really hot. I was actually leading the league in home runs, like in the first month or whatever. And then like, dude, business got so busy because I was a solo guy just flipping houses. And like, I had like 15 flips going on while I was playing baseball. And then I was like, I had one guy helping me during that time. And dude, I'm in the dugout, like answering emails and like doing deals and stuff, like in between, pregame and postgame and, on the bus and all this. I was like getting pretty overwhelmed. And so I then went from like hitting a bunch of homers to having like the worst season of my career. And then by halfway, and here's the thing, like at that point, I had decided in my mind, I was like, this is my last season. Like, this is too much.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm not going to quit though. Like, I don't quit. So I will ride out the rest of the season, even though I'm kind of like miserable. And then, so anyways, thankfully, halfway through, I get released because I'm sucking. And a couple of teams like, you want to keep playing? I'm like, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
So I go home. And it's funny because I'll never forget this. On my way home, I'm driving from Fargo, North Dakota to Vegas. This is a 24-hour trip. So I have a lot of time to reflect, like essentially say goodbye to the game of baseball.
Yeah.
I'm 28 years old. And I'm thinking, God, I'm like, God, thank you that like I got to play this long and that I have a future in this new business. Like it was like so peaceful to know that I was headed into a new season. And I remember like at that point, I had no idea who any of these social media guys are because I watch no social media. Yeah. All I do is watch baseball and sports and I just flip houses and I just kind of am living in a bubble. And I'm like, well, I guess now that I'm a full-time businessman, like I should get like an office. I should like know who's the competition, whatever, right? So I'm like, I should probably listen to podcasts because I didn't listen to any at that time. And so I'm like, what's a good podcast? And I'm looking and I see this guy, Lewis House. And, now Lewis and I are friends, but, he's like talking about he's an ex-athlete. Now he's this like entrepreneur guy. And I'm like, wow, that would be cool if like that happened to me one day. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll meet this guy one day and like we have a similar story. And so, I'm just listening to these different podcasts and things. And so long story short, 2018 happens or I finally retire at the end of 2017. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get an office. I'm gonna go legit full-time businessman. So I hire like 8 people.
You went all in real quick.
Yeah, I'm like, I got this office. We got to fill it.
Yeah.
So I go get a bunch of salespeople. The year before in 2017, I basically did 50 flips with me and one guy and playing baseball. And I made $750K that year. And then 2018 comes and I hire people. We end up doing 150 deals. I make $2 million. In addition to that, I became aware of like this world of influencers and stuff. And, I went to Cardone's event here in Vegas, GrowthCon. It was like number 2 or something. I can't even remember. But I remember this guy gifted me tickets because I was cheap. I thought paying for education was dumb. And this guy was like, bro, I'll like get you a ticket. Like you should go. I'm like, whatever. So I go and we were in the second row actually. So it was an expensive ticket. And I'll never forget all these guys were walking out who I now know and call friends, but like, at the time, I had no idea who any of them are. And dude, there's like 8,000 people there and they're going nuts. Like fangirls.
Yep.
And they're dudes in suits and like normal. I'm like, what the heck who is Ed Milet? Who is Ty Lopez? Who is this Russell Brunson guy? Like I've never heard of one of these people in my life. Like, why is everyone going crazy for these people? And I just was like, what is going on in this place? And so each of them at that time, like Grant does it differently today, but each of them pitched something after every presentation, right? And I'm like, oh, I guess this is just what they do at events. Like every person just pitches some random thing.
Yeah.
But I'll never forget, Brunson's pitch was just so good. It was like the best pitch I've ever heard about, starting an online business and selling your knowledge and all these things. And I was like, gosh, I hate gurus, but like what he's saying makes sense.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, I'll just buy it. So I bought his thing. I literally didn't use it. I had no idea what I even bought. But I got the book, Expert Secrets, and that was like the $12 piece of it. And that was all I read.
Yeah.
And it was enough. I was like, this makes perfect sense. So I wrote a book, made a course. I was like, I'm about to print money, like teaching people how to flip houses, because I've already done over 100 of these now. And I literally made nothing. I sold one course. It was like $1,500. I was like, dude, this digital thing sucks. Yeah. But like, I share all that because 2018 was like a really big like changing point, because I had fully gone into business. I had become aware of like potential outcomes for my life in business.
Yeah.
And I also had saw all these guys on stage, and as an athlete, you know this, we're competitive. And so I'm hearing Russell talk about wrestling and this. I'm like, this guy ain't even done anything. Like, he's like some normal guy. And you're telling me he makes this much? This is crazy. And then Ty Lopez is up there talking. I'm like, this guy's literally done nothing, and he's making this much money. This is insane. And then Cardone's talking about being a drug addict and all these things. And then every single one of them is talking about their story. And I'm like, no one here is remarkable by any means. And I was like, if these guys can do this, this cannot be that hard. And that was my mindset. And once again, whether it was arrogant or confident or ignorant, whatever, but like as athletes, we're like, okay, if this is the top of the top, and then I know I can do it. And I remember looking around, I was like, one day I'm going to throw this event. Like, I will be the guy throwing these events, or I will be like, these will be my peers. Mm-hmm. I don't know when, but it will happen. And it happened actually way quicker than I thought, because, it went from I'm flipping houses, building teams and all this stuff. And I do that for a couple of years, and it's great. And it would have been fine just only flipping houses. But in 2020, COVID happened. And I had like 50 house flips going on, and you have staff and all these things. And I'm like, am I about to like lose it all? Because I had like $20 million of house flips.
Jeez.
And I'm like, they're telling me that everything's going to go to nothing and the world's going to die. I'm like, what do I do next? And that was like the second time I really got clear direction from God. It was like social media. I'm like, social media? And I had people telling me about YouTube and TikTok, and I'm like, TikTok? It's a kid's app. What am I supposed to do on that? And dude, I just went with it. I'm like, all right, like I'm going to try this TikTok thing, this YouTube thing. And it turns out I started at literally the perfect time.
Yeah, you did.
There was no better time to ever start any of this stuff. And it caught fire. People just started liking the content. I was talking about flipping couches. I was talking about flipping houses. And at that point I had started my brokerage, and we had agents, and I had started a tax firm that was growing, and it all expanded. And then like that education thing that I failed at for the first 2 years, 2018 and 2019, I had this course, I had a book, it literally made nothing. So I was like this terrible online guy. And then all of a sudden I started making good content, and people just start buying coaching. Yep. And like that turns into the biggest business. And I'm like, this is crazy. Like, I don't even know what to do.
I think inside the social media world, the best people at social media at growing virally are the ones that are first business owners. Yeah. And I think the reason, there's a lot of different reasons. They approach it as a business, which really helps. But people are craving good education online. Yeah. And you were part of the wave that honestly got me into social media. So I'm 2 years behind you. Mm-hmm. I posted my first video in 2023. But it was all the education side. Like, it wasn't the dancing and the memes. And
I tried that.
Yeah. And I was like, no, I'm never going to touch that stuff. But there was only a handful of you guys. There was only 10, 20, 30 of you that would like go viral in education. And I was like, I can do that. I can actually do that. But people crave it. They want good education online. And so it's been fun to kind of watch that. So when you start making money, I run a finance page. That's where a lot of these people listening in are coming from. When you start making $750,000, $2 million a year, are you investing outside of your businesses, or are you just dumping everything back in?
Bro, so let me tell you this. I've lost the most money investing outside of my core competencies. Mm-hmm. So back to 2018, 2019, look, in flipping, it's so capital intensive. So it's like, we're just always reinvesting into the next deal, right? So it's like, you had to get up to
$20 million somehow.
Yeah. So it's like, you're always just investing into the next deal. So like, that's how that was for a really long time. But then I would randomly choose properties I wanted to keep. And so I started building a portfolio. I had 2017, I started buying Airbnbs before it was a thing. I was like, this Airbnb thing sounds really smart. And so I started buying properties in Big Bear, California, and it crushed. I remember my first one I bought for $200,000. My mortgage was like $1,300. It was renting for $4,000.
Jeez.
And there was nothing to it. It was just like a normal cabin. I didn't make it nice or anything. There's just nothing.
Yeah.
Airbnb was new.
Yep.
I was like, this is nuts. I can't believe this is a thing. So I bought like 10. And I was making $500K a year, like in revenue, and a couple $100,000 in cash flow. And then they doubled in value. And some of them even tripled. And I was like, this is cool. Like this rental thing. And, I bought some normal rentals in Vegas because Airbnb was illegal. But, so I would buy rentals here and there when it made sense. And then Airbnb started to suck. And so I got rid of them. But then I think I spent a lot of money as time went on into infrastructure. So, I went from a team of, 10 people, like I said, to then, we got this real estate thing, or, we got a brokerage, we got an education company, we got a tax firm, we got this. And all of a sudden I started many businesses, and at my peak I had 100 employees across everything. And, your payroll and all those things are extremely high. So I'm like, man, I'm going to keep cash in the bank to make sure that we do this. So I was investing into businesses. I was investing into brand and studios and all these things that I knew would like amplify what we did. And then we started throwing massive events, and I didn't realize how expensive that was, So we started doing an event called WealthCon every quarter. And, to throw an event at that scale, the venue, the speakers, everything are at least $500,000 up front until, the event is there. Then all the ad spend and the employees. And I was like, wow, I guess I got to have a lot of cash for this too. And so it just became this thing of like, I was always majority putting my money back into the business. But long story short, I would say I did that. I bought rentals. I would also do random things too. Like, I'm still a believer in crypto. I was buying NFTs. I was doing all this stuff. Started my own NFT project. Initially did super good, but like all other NFTs, it crashed.
Yep.
And now people want to sue you over that, and it just is what it is.
Yeah.
But I lost a lot of money in crypto and NFTs when things crashed because I had a bunch. I invested in multifamily, and that's outside of my core competency. So like we started a fund and we bought hundreds of units of apartments, and praise God that majority of them are good. We actually just went full cycle on our first one. And even in this terrible market with rates and everything, we still got investors like a 15% return.
Awesome.
So everyone was happy about that. But, like I have so much money tied up in those. I have money tied up in luxury flips that I've had for years. I've had money tied up in land development. And it's like, they're real estate, but they're still outside of the core competency. So it's like, when I look at it, I'm like, man, I lost a lot of money or tied up a lot of money in things that were just random. And then also too, I lost a lot of money when the real estate market turned for flipping. So, in 2022, we're in like the best market ever. And, rates are 2-3%, prices just keep going up. We're like making money like crazy flipping houses. And then all of a sudden it turns. And at that time I had $20 million of flips again, $200K a month of mortgage payments, and nothing selling. Prices are dropping.
Jeez.
And so, eventually I ended up selling them all. Thank God I was able to pay back all my investors because I had enough money, but it cost me personally millions to like move those deals.
Yeah. So learning from that today, what's your investing strategy? Are you dumping into the business, or are you still going outside your business? Like, do you have stock portfolios and crypto portfolios and real estate portfolios you're still allocating money to, or are you just doubling down inside your businesses?
Yeah. So good question. So first thing is let's think about all those things you just mentioned. So stocks, I never did.
Yeah.
I just don't understand stocks.
Yep.
I don't care to. What's funny is during COVID, I had a SEP IRA, so I had a few $100,000 into it. I'm like, like everything crashed in COVID. Mm-hmm. And I was always been a fan of Tesla. I was like, I don't know. This seems so undervalued. I can't believe, like, I bought my favorite companies, Tesla and Del Taco. Okay.
That's a portfolio right there.
Literally, I just bought my own portfolio of Tesla and Del Taco. I put like a few $100,000 into it. And then within like 2-3 months, it doubled. And I was like, because, it like had that massive dip and it was back up. And I was like, oh, sweet. Like, I'm a really good like stock investor. Yeah. And then I liquidated it because I'm like, all right, like it's over. In hindsight, I have no idea what that would be worth.
Could have been. Yeah.
Yeah. But then I put it, ironically, into a multifamily deal because I'm like, all right, cool. We got, all this. I'm going to dump it into my multifamily deal. And I would have been better off with Tesla for sure.
Yeah.
But I have nothing. Well, I take that back because I do have money in a money market account.
Yeah.
And so I guess they do that because it's just like a guaranteed 5% or whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that works, but I just have cash there. So I guess I'm there. I don't have like a 401k or anything like that. I still have rental properties. We still have the multifamily syndications, but I don't have a ton of rentals anymore. I actually had to sell a bunch off to like pay investors.
Yeah.
So I look at, and I tell our students and people this, I'm like, rentals are more like a piggy bank. Like they're not cash flow. Yeah. Like you ain't cash flowing today. Like, but they will appreciate over time and give you tax benefits. And like, if you have a rainy day, it's nice to have these like piggy banks. Yeah. So still have some of those. I got obviously my personal homes and some land and my parents' home and my in-laws' home. And so, bought things like that. What else? Crypto. I guess I still have NFTs. I just never sell them. But, I don't have any Bitcoin or Ethereum. I'm a huge believer in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Like I fully believe it will be, $1 million plus one day.
Yeah.
But it's just not like the perfect opportunity cost for me right now. Yeah. Basically every dollar at this point is now going back into my business. Yeah. And, I was telling you beforehand, like I'm really trying to build our business to be sellable. Mm-hmm. And, we're just reinvesting back into growth and ad spend and all these things. And so I just want to like not do anything that compromises like that.
It's a completely different business when you're trying to sell the business.
Yeah.
You set it up differently. You run it differently. You pay more attention. At least I pay more attention to my numbers.
Yep.
I got to know exactly where my CAC is, where my LTV is, all the stuff that we were talking about off camera. Like it matters scaling the right business to sell, but it takes a lot of money. Scaling business is not cheap, so I don't blame you at all for that. Where do you think inside of real estate is the biggest opportunity? Do you think wholesaling is still a big opportunity? Do you think everyone should get there? A lot of people will say it's done. Like I've heard that multiple times that wholesaling's done.
Yeah.
I know you don't believe that, but walk me through it. Why don't you believe that? And do you think the same opportunity there is today as when you were starting in 2015, 16, 17?
Yeah. So I'm actually flipping way less today and I'm wholesaling more than ever today. So in my like actual real estate business, like I was saying before, I'd usually have like 50 properties we owned at any given moment under construction, on the market, in escrow to sell. Like that's just how I operated that way for like 7 years. And then when I got burned in 2022, I was like, never again. Yeah. Like I'm not going to put myself under that much risk anymore because I have other things going on. Like this is easily the biggest risk.
Yeah.
And there's no point anymore.
Yeah.
So now today, maybe I'll have like 7 or 8 properties at a time. And even then I'm like, they got to be home runs if I'm going to actually buy them and flip them, take on debt and all those things. Like I actually find myself becoming more like Dave Ramsey as time goes on. Ironically, I'm like, I get why he does not like, when you get burned by debt, I understand why you don't like it. So I'm mainly wholesaling now. And so we'll have, 30 contracts at any given moment. Yeah. Properties we're trying to find buyers for, properties we already have buyers for, properties on the market waiting to sell. And I love wholesaling. And the reason I love wholesaling is I tell like new real estate investors this. Like I've basically, I have this new system. I call it cash flow 2.0. And essentially the hook is, hey guys, like I know everyone wants cash flow and rentals because that's like what you've been told.
Yeah.
But it doesn't exist. It's just fake. It's just not a thing anymore with rates, with prices. It's like almost impossible. And if you're going to get cash flow, you're going to the Midwest, you're going to go to ghetto areas and that comes with its own problems. I bought those. So how do you make cash flow? Well, for me, the most cash flow I've ever made is in owning a business. It's like nothing produces more cash every month than my business is. And if I can remove myself from the business, then like, isn't that what you want anyways? Just something that makes you cash. And so it's like, oh yeah, I guess that's cash flow, like getting people to think that like, oh, active income can be cash flow. And then, from there I say, well, wholesaling is a way to get you cash flow. And it has, in my opinion, the 3 most important attributes that you would look for in any investment strategy. So number 1, it has maximum returns. So like, it doesn't have small returns. Like when you look at a rental, it's like, okay, I'm gonna put $40,000 down to buy this rental to make $200 a month. That's not a good return on cash. Like, yeah, long-term, sure, whatever, but cash flow wise, terrible cash on cash. Wholesaling is, okay, you know what? I'll take the same 40,000, and I don't even need 40,000, by the way. But like, even take back a step back. Let's say you buy the rental and you have a $2,000 mortgage. Like that's technically the cost of running that business every month. Like this $2,000 mortgage, the property manager, all this stuff, all for the upside of making $200 a month. That's the business of a rental property. Stupid if you're trying to like make cash flow.
Yep.
So I say, well, take the same $2,000 in wholesaling and put it towards marketing and running the business. Same $2,000. And your upside is you could easily get a deal a month. That's $15K. So $2,000 to make $15K. So maximum return wholesaling can give you. So number 1, it has that. Number 2, minimal risk. We don't take on debt in wholesaling. There is like almost no risk with wholesaling because we don't have mortgages, we don't have debt. And guess what? The worst case is like you're out $2,000 in marketing. But the thing is, and I actually learned this from Ramsey, I go, Dave, what about like all your overhead? Like that's technically debt. You got to pay millions of dollars a month in overhead. He goes, it's not debt though. Debt, you are stuck with. You can't get rid of it. Like if you have a 30-year mortgage on your house, it's not like you can just get rid of it and stop paying it. Like you have to sell the asset and that takes time. He goes, with staff or marketing or anything, you just cut it. You could stop paying it all tomorrow. And I was like, that makes a lot of sense. And it's like with wholesaling, if it's not working, you just cut the marketing and it's off. You don't have to sell a property or wait for a mortgage and be on the hook if your tenant stops paying or whatever. So there's like almost no risk. And then the third is minimal time. So it's like we want to like get an investment return quick. Yeah. And it's like, well, with a rental, it's going to be 5 years, 10 years before it really gives you the return. With a house flip, it's going to be 6 months, 12 months, depending on, the size of the scope. Wholesaling is 30 to 45 days. So it's like, it's the quickest return on cash in real estate as well. It has the quickest velocity of money in real estate. So for that reason, even today, it's interesting because I've started many businesses. I don't know many other businesses that have those same traits. Yeah. When you look at it, it's like if I start a tax firm, which I have, or if I start a real estate brokerage or anything, like what's my return? Like how quick does it happen? It doesn't happen quick. Yeah. What's the risk? Well, you got to hire staff and employees and salaries and buildings. What's the maximum return? Well, 20% margin, 30%, like that's years later, once it's established, wholesaling can start tomorrow and like get a deal tomorrow and roll by yourself, no staff. And if you do hire staff, it's all commission only. So like there's not really risk.
And you can do it on the side.
Yeah, I think it's a great transition.
Yeah, it's so many people stuck in these jobs, know they want to do a side hustle, want to get out, want to build financial freedom, but it's so hard to do any of those other businesses. You can't start a business on the side. Very few businesses you can start on the side. Yep. That's a perfect example of the perfect trifecta while simultaneously being able to do it very, very quick.
Yeah. I think most people who start with us, I would guess 80% have jobs. Yeah. And what I tell them is, I'm like, how many of y'all want to quit your job? And a lot of them do. And I go, how many of you guys like your job and you just want to supplement? And there's like a big proportion too. And I go, this is the perfect career for you because it's not like you have to clock in at a certain time. Like you got to go stand at your storefront or whatever, right? Like you talk to sellers on your own free time. You generate leads, you make the calls. If they text you back during the day, like you have your phone, you can still communicate. And I just tell people like, if you can give it 10 hours a week, you can be successful.
Yeah. Awesome. Super interesting. So to kind of wrap this thing up, I asked the same 6 questions to every single guest, and these are meant to be rapid fire. Okay. We'll kind of flow through these.
All right.
Curious. It's really fun for the the listeners to get the same 6 questions from all these different people and get such wildly different answers. So first one, rapid fire. What's the top 3 pieces of advice you would give someone that's starting their own business right now?
Okay. Number 1, focus on one thing. So a lot of people like to start multiple things. Don't do that.
Yep.
Focus on one. 2, don't do what you have passion about. I think like a lot of people want to have a passionate business. Do what makes freaking money. Okay. Like for me, I don't really care about real estate that much. I really don't, but I love the result.
Yeah.
So, find your passion in the result of your fruit. And then 3, I don't want to give you a generic one. I was going to say get a mentor, but that's generic. Let's see, what would be a good one you've probably never heard? 3, I would just say like take massive risk.
Yeah.
And it sounds crazy because like I just talked about how I got burned many times, but remember to get started, I maxed out all my credit cards, put $50K up, didn't know if it was going to work, did it. I decided to try flipping couches and bought a car. It worked. I started going on TikTok and dancing and figured like it worked.
Yep.
And not every risk will work.
Yeah.
Right. Not all my risk have paid off, but you're guaranteed to fail if you take no risk.
Yeah.
And that's what most people are. They're so scared to fail. And it's like, I'm giving you permission to fail. And in fact, I'm telling you, you're going to fail.
Yep.
And just like, no, it's okay. It's part of it.
The quicker you fail, the quicker you find the answer.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. Okay. If you were to start over with scratch today with 5,000 to your name, what business would you start?
First, I thought you were talking about golf. When you said scratch, my mind is like, I'm a golfer now.
That's where he's at right now. He's already on the course.
So I thought you were saying as a scratch golfer. I was like, okay, I like it. So if I was starting from scratch with 5K.
Yeah. What business would you start today?
Wholesale. It wouldn't even be close.
You'd go right back to it.
I still do it and I have more than 5K.
Yep. Awesome. Okay. We may have already answered this. What's the worst investment you've ever made? We went through a couple already.
Gosh, so many. It's crazy because flipping houses was the best investment I ever made, but it also cost me the most when the market turns. I don't know. I guess it's
flipping houses.
That was the biggest loss.
The follow-up was the best, so that's going to be your best as well. Okay, last question. Outside of your core competency, so you can't say flipping houses or real estate, what are you most excited about right now to invest in?
Okay, well, I can tell you, I've been thinking about, hey, if I sold my business, like what would I do with the money? Like, let's say I got this massive lump sum. So I'll tell you what I would do at that point.
Yeah.
2 things I'm going to do. One is I'll be a hard money lender, which is, it's in real estate, but like, I don't think people realize how good hard money lenders got it. Because, I've been paying these guys millions of dollars over the years. In 10 years, I've never defaulted. They've literally just chilled and made a killing. These guys can make on average probably 15% or more, when you factor in points and rates and all these things. And in the worst case, if you're first position and you underwrite well, you just get a property.
Just take the house.
That's literally the worst case. It's like, so you're telling me I'm gonna probably make 15+%, or I'm going to get a good deal on a house and probably make more.
Yep.
What other passive investment is there so I think majority of my money would be used in hard money. And it's kind of cheating because it's in my industry and like I have deal flow.
Yeah.
But if I'm not doing that, I'm a huge believer in Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin's going to skyrocket. So I'd want to have some of that.
That's awesome. Well, thank you. This has been fun. If people want to reach out to you, want to get in touch with you, social media, DMs, how do they get into your ecosystem to?
Yeah, dude, I appreciate you having me on and, having my story. For those who want to wholesale, I would say we do a virtual event every week. And so they can get a ticket to that at cashflow20.com. So the number 2, the letter O.com. Or go to Wealthy Investor and that's the education side.
Yeah.
And then on social media, just Ryan Pineda everywhere.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate it, man. Thanks.
Cool. Appreciate you.
If you love this conversation, you are going to love my conversation with Brian Decker. Click here to watch it.